seconds.
Is this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in?
Yeah. What in the world is going on, everybody? Welcome to On the Pipe Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler Shepherdson, and today is Tuesday, April the 12th, 2022, which means you are here just in the nick of time for another episode of OTP Tuesdays, where we recap all things off-road racing, at least on the East Coast for now. So if you're new to the show, this is kind of what we do every single week. We talk to some riders, see how the weekend went, see how things are going, talk about the news in the sport. I know yesterday was OTP's weekend review with Stu. That didn't happen. There was a little bit of a scheduling conflict, but we got it dialed in. We got it going on. We are all set and ready. Look for OTP's weekend review with Stu to be coming out tomorrow evening. I don't want to get into too much detail about what we talked about because then you're not going to go listen to the show. There would be no need to. So just keep an eye out. That will be dropping tomorrow. So we kind of moved that one from Monday to Wednesday in order to keep OTP Tuesday right here in its place on Tuesday. So a lot of things to talk about over this past weekend. There was a lot of stuff that happened at the Tiger Run GNCC, a lot of storylines going on, and a lot of interesting things that unfolded. So be on the lookout for that. But tonight, we got an excellent show coming at you. We have, first of all, Ryder Lafferty. Ryder Lafferty got second place at the Sumter National Enduro a couple of months ago, so he will head into the next one in second place in points, with points leader Stuart Baylor likely not racing that event. Now, this past weekend, he grabbed his first ever XC2 Pro victory in the XC2 class at GNCC. So he's been on the podium several times before. This was his third podium of the year, but his first XC2 win of his career. We talk with Ryder about his team change, about everything that happened leading up to this, what he's doing for training, how he feels about the win, and even a couple more things. So that was a really fun interview, and I can't wait for you all to hear it. And then we are joined by a legend of dirt bike riding. A huge fan of this guy. I don't remember the last time that I was nervous for an interview, and you can probably hear it in my voice and in the interview. I'm not proud of my end of the interview just because I was nervous. I'm such a huge fan of Zach Osborne, and it was such an honor to have him on the show, and I really appreciated him and his time. So I did freeze up a little bit. It wasn't my finest hour, but a lot of really good information out of Zach and such a super fun conversation. We've already talked more about him coming on the show again to hopefully get more information out of him. It's kind of hard to jam-pack an entire career into one OTP Tuesday segment about a GNCC race that just happened over the past weekend. So that is a really fun conversation. We talked to him. Obviously, he raced the morning race with Caleb Russell and the rest of the WXC class and the amateurs in that 10 o'clock race at Camp Coker. So we talked to him about that. We talked to him about his future plans with GNCC and with dirt bikes in general. He is now an ambassador for Husqvarna Motorcycles, so he's got a lot of stuff on the docket. So we kind of talked through some of his plans that he has coming up and where and when you may be able to see him at a GNCC again. It was, like I said, it was a really cool opportunity. I think I was smiling the whole time, and I was smiling afterwards, except for the fact that I kind of froze up a little bit. No, but it was cool. Can't thank Zach enough for his time. Can't thank Ryder enough for his time. And I can't thank you enough for listening to On the Pipe podcast. Before we get into it, just want to let you all know Beta Motorcycles is the official manufacturer of On the Pipe podcast. Beta Motorcycles has been a family-owned and operated company since 1905. They manufacture the finest enduro, trials, and dual sport motorcycles that are known for their premium quality and rideability. Beta motorcycles are the best looking bikes on the market and back it up with their superior performance. Head over to betausa.com for more information on their available models or to find a dealer near you to get yours today. So, yep, beta. I can't wait to go. I might race this weekend. I'm kind of leaving that one on the back burner, but I have an inkling to go race the Middies Hair Scrambles this weekend. I'm trying to decide whether or not it's a good idea. I think it'd be fun. I don't know if I can do it because of my leg injury that I've been dealing with, but also just time off the bike. I mean, I think I was off the bike for over a year before this injury happened, and then since then I've only ridden a couple times. So arm pump would be real. My heart rate would be off the charts, but you don't get in race shape by sitting on the couch every weekend. And this is the first and only open weekend that I've had in a while and that will have in a while. So might go out there and race. If not, I'll definitely be riding. I cannot wait to take my beta motorcycle to Brown Mountain. That is in the cards in the very near future. They just opened up in April. I don't know how I haven't been up there yet already, but I think that is where this beta motorcycle is going to absolutely shine because it's so much fun to ride, and it's so easy to ride. And can't wait to ride it in some technical, gnarly stuff up there to get a feel for that as well. Also, this episode is brought to you in part by Zach Tussle at Raymond James Financial. We talked to Zach last week on OTP Tuesday, where you guys got to know a little bit about him and his backstory. Zach is a racer and financial advisor that helps his clients win when it comes to retirement and financial planning. If you or someone you know wants to save and invest for their future or is already retired and needs advice for income during retirement, Zach Tussle is always my first recommendation, and he should be yours as well. You can find out more by Googling Zach Tussle, that's Tussel, or on their website at financialadvisorsdenvernc.com. He is a racer just like us. He is also a financial guru, so he can help you or someone else you know out. He is managing my account. He's managing several other riders' accounts that you guys all know. I'm not going to go into their names, but it includes amateurs, and it includes the XC1 Pro Row, and that's as far as I'm going to go. They can talk about it more if they want. I'm just not going to release that information, but find out if it is right for you, because situations like I'm in, buying stupid vegan cars and then quitting your job immediately after, that is not reliant on income that from a regular 9-to-5 job. A lot of that is reliant on investments and planning for the future. So reach out to Zach, figure out how you can start planning for your financial future right now. There's no better time to start than yesterday. The second best time to start is right now. So reach out, ask what Zach can do for you. He'll be more than happy to explain what he can do for you. And yeah. financialadvisorsdenvernc.com. With that being said, we're all set and ready to get into this week's episode of OTP Tuesday. If you could, be a friend, tell a friend. If you enjoy these shows, let somebody know. Let them know about On the Pipe podcast. You wouldn't believe how many people come up to me and say that they didn't even know what a podcast was until they found out about OTP, and now they listen every week. So it blows my mind how many of you listen, and I know I go into it every week, so if I sound like a broken record, I apologize, but I am so thankful that you are here. I am so thankful that you all listen and support the show. It means the world to me. Be a friend, tell a friend, pass it along with someone that you think may enjoy the show as well. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you are listening to this at. So if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Stitcher or Google Play Store, wherever you're at, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. For instance, tomorrow, when that episode with Stu, the weekend review with Stu, gets uploaded, you will be the first one to know. So you don't have to wait for the social media post, which has to be planned around the most active times, which is usually around dinner time. So it might be after I've already posted the show. You don't have to wait till then. You'll see it pop right up on your phone. So that is a major benefit of subscribing. Also, I don't have many ratings, I don't think. So if you want to leave a rating and it's 5 stars, go ahead and do that. But if you want to leave a rating and it's 1 star, maybe go find another one and then give them 1 star and let them know that it was in reference to me. No, I'm just kidding. feedback is what makes these things better. It's the only thing that's going to make these things better. So good feedback, bad feedback, constructive criticism, I am welcome to all of it. I love getting suggestions from you all about what you want to see and what you want to hear. That being said, I know we were supposed to start YouTube live. I'm working out the kinks on the software that I'm going to be using. So until I get that dialed in, I didn't want to just rush straight into it. Hopefully next week we'll be live on video. Until then, you can still find us on YouTube, but it's just audio only still on YouTube, but we plan to have that in video as well. And yeah, I think that's going to do it. Thank you all for listening, and let's get into the show. We're going to go to our first guest of the evening, coming straight off of his first career XC2 Pro victory last weekend at Camp Coker, Ryder Lafferty. Ryder, how's it going today?
Pretty good, man. Just kind of hanging out. Been a kind of light day. Haven't really done a whole lot. Just kind of did a little spin on the bicycle, and that's about it. Now I'm out golfing with my buddies. So
good deal. And so introduce you, going through the introduction there, XC2 winner. How does that sound? How does that feel to finally get it done, finally get that monkey off your back, finally win your first XC2 race?
It feels good. I mean, like I've told a couple of people already that have been asking me, but it's kind of, you'd think it'd be different. Like, you think it's like a big weightlifter off my shoulders, and, you know, but honestly, it kind of just, I'm kind of feeling a little numb to it. Like, I don't know if it's kind of fully sunk in yet or not, or what the deal is, but I think it just doesn't feel, you know, like, I would think that it would feel different, you know, but it's cool. Like, yeah, I've been working for this for a while, and the other thing is, you know, it's just, well, there's a bunch more races to do it, so now I know how to do it and try to work for doing it more.
Yeah, and you say that you're numb to it. Last time we talked, you were coming off of your first National Enduro podium, and one of the things that we talked about in there was Mason-Dixon GNCC in 2019, where y'all but won your first XC2 race and ended up not quite making it to the finish line on the last lap.
Yeah.
Does this do any redemption to that? Like, did any of that go through your mind that you were so close in 2019 and now in 2022 you're getting that win back?
Yeah. It's I didn't think of it then, but I thought of it not like now. Like, it's been long time coming since that all happened, and I was really thought, like, I think that's why I'm numb, because it's like I've been through the lows, I've had highs, you know, I've had some other good second, third places, been close to it, and then I've also had where, you know, I'm stuck in the woods and my bike's blown up, or DNF'd, or team problems, or, you know, just any life, you know, like, it's kind of set me back, and I haven't gotten it done yet until now. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and so last year at Camp Coker, you had a pretty good spill, and that's when you ended up getting that concussion that kind of started the whole trend of things going downhill for you, for lack of a better way to put it. Did that play into it at all? I mean, what was your thoughts going into Camp Coker? Was it just another race, or did that concussion last year kind of play into it? And does getting the win there and kind of getting that redemption there this year, does that make it a little bit sweeter, or is it just another race?
Yeah, it's definitely, I thought, I'm not going to lie, I did think about it. You know, every race you go to, you think about it. Oh, what did I do here last year? You know, what was the track like? What was this? What was that? And it was a bummer, you know, like that kind of messed up my whole year right there at that place. But, if you look, then I also, like, it's like I look back 2 years ago when we were there, I had a pretty good ride going there as well. I think I was fourth XC2, but I led for a while, was battling with Johnny G and Witowski and all those boys, and then at the end of the race, my tire actually came off the rim, and I went back to the pits, swapped it out, came back, and then charged through some guys and still ended up fifth. And I thought that was a really good ride there too. That was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I've had good rides there before. I knew it's like, hey, I had a bad one here last year. It's not that big of a deal. It's not stress about it. I've rode good here before, so treat it like every other race. And also, like I had a bad race at Tiger Run, unfortunately, when I cut my hand, and I was like, I'm not having another bad race. I'm gonna make this one a good one.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about it. Tiger Run, you did cut your hand open pretty bad, and you ended up in 12th there, which I'm sure is not where you want to be by any stretch of the imagination. But did that cut, how is it now? Is it healed up? Did that play into anything this past weekend? How's the hand doing?
It's good now. It's all healed up. Like, it's healed up for the most part. Like, I got pretty lucky with it, and I did as much as I could to get it healed. And there was only one cut. Like, it was a big cut, but then, like, I still don't really know what it actually was that cut my hand, but it was kind of like meat grinder kind of cut me up pretty good. Took a big chunk out, and the big chunk of it was actually, it kind of looked like a blister. So it's like a really bad blister. And as being a dirt bike rider, I kind of know how to handle that. So I kind of knew that with this 2 week break I had in between, I had to take as good care of it as I could. And I waited for a while and didn't ride with it. And then, I just raced with it last week at that Mid-East, and it was good. I haven't had any problems with it since. It's just getting that callus back, and so it's all healed now, 100%.
Sweet. Yeah, just spray some brake cleaner on it. It'll buff out.
Yeah, exactly, right. It'll stink a little bit.
You start out this year on the box in third. Florida, things did not go your way. 18th there, then back on the podium, then Tiger Run, and now a win. What happened in Florida?
Florida, I kind of had a similar one to like how my Camp Coker was last year that you were talking about. It's like I had a pretty good crash, and I don't think it wasn't anything concussion related. I think the heat got to me, and I think we seen, like, I think Toth had the same type of deal, like a little bit, like with the heat and a little bit of dehydrating. Like it kind of screwed me up a little bit, and I was like, I came in the pits, and I had a couple good crashes too, because I kept trying to ride, and I was just like in a daze and kind of out of it, and I don't know. It wasn't concussion really. I've had concussion. I know what concussion feels like, but I had real bad migraines, and like, I don't know. It was just a weird race, and one that I definitely would like to forget. You know? Yeah.
Florida was one of those ones, I think it got the best of a lot of people this year. It looked like a damn war zone at the finish line of that thing.
Yeah. And also, like, at Florida, I had a lot really on my plate, because, you know, I come into this year and I was I'm on the side of, you know, I'm not full factory, you know, supported under the gas tent. Like, I'm kind of on the side, you know, under where the Whitmers are, and Sean Remington, like those type of guys are not full factory. That's where I started out at the beginning of the year. And then when Johnny got hurt, you know, they approached me about possibly filling in and riding his bike after I did good at the first round. So that couple weeks we had in between there, and from Big Buck to Florida, it was like kind of a scramble. I didn't really have a whole lot of time with factory bike, switching suspension, you know, that pressure of kind of, I didn't think I have pressure, but, you know, it was, you know, a little bit different, because you're the guy now, because Ricky was hurt at the time, and so was Johnny. So I was went from kind of off to the side to holding down the fort, you know.
So what was the main differences between the bike, jumping from kind of like a satellite deal to, like you said, the full factory bike? What were the biggest differences, and like what stuff did you have to work out between those two races?
Yeah, so the biggest difference was the motor, for sure. Like I just run a stock motor, or what I have been in the last couple of years, just a stock motor. You know, we run race gas and no real work done or anything like that. But the factory bikes, it's a pretty big difference, I think, with the motor, and it took me a little bit to get used to the power, just how it handles. Like I struggle with that a little bit in Florida, like just how the motor works and everything. Like it hits a lot harder in the mid, and blew my arms up. Kind of, you get more arm pump and stuff like that. So that was the biggest like difference. But also, I mean, there's I switched over suspension. I was with JDP, and then with the factory stuff, I have to run WP stuff, factory service. So, and it was Johnny stuff, which he's similar stature to me. And that wasn't that big of a change. Like, I think I can set up a bike pretty good with suspension. So a little bit of tinkering and stuff, we got it pretty dialed, and it's honestly not far off where Johnny had his stuff. So.
Oh, wow. So talk to me a little bit about, and you don't have to get into crazy specifics, but last year you kind of ended up in a spot where almost like the rug got ripped out from under you. You had to make that switch. Coastal stepped up, put you on a bike. You finished the year out with them, and then coming into this season, I know we talked about it a little bit in the past, you and I, but as far as how that whole Coastal deal came together this year, and how is that relationship working now after seeing these results and now getting that win?
Yeah.
And the National Enduro success as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. It was kind of happened all pretty fast. Like I was not having the best year. I didn't have really the good results at the other team that I was at, and suddenly it just kind of got ripped away from me, and then I was kind of left on my own and trying to figure out stuff, and I made some phone calls. Like I said, I talked to JDP. He had my back, and he's like, hey, why don't you call Barry Coastal? And I was like, there's no way. And I actually, so I was pumped. Like I called him, talked to him, everything. It was kind of plug and play, because at the time Alex Patterson, he wasn't racing, and there was an empty bike there for me to take, and if I wanted to. So it kind of worked out, and then did the last 4 GNCCs, I think it was, or however many it was, and then or last 3, and then a National Enduro at the end of the year, and it was pretty good. I had good results, but it was like I did good, but it wasn't like, hey, you're a sealed spot, and it was like we kind of had to fight a little bit to work this out with the, not with the Coastal team, but with Gas for this year. And it all worked out though, and like I can't complain with where I'm in the spot I'm in now. Like I feel like I've kind of put the results in to earn it, to be where I'm at. And I love it over at the Coastal guys have been awesome to me, and they're like it's like a they say gas. It's like the fun team or whatever. Like that's their thing. Like they want it to be fun, and it is. Like I feel like our team is kind of all family. We're out there, throwing cornhole, on Saturday before the races, and just kind of like you can see it. Like we all get along really good, and they know how I am, and they know what to do with racing and everything like that. They kind of let me do my deal, and it's working. So it's been good.
That's really cool. I'm pumped for you, man. That's awesome to hear. And if you ever need a cornhole partner to destroy the competition on a Saturday night, shoot me a text, man. I got your back. Don't worry about it. But one thing that I wanted to kind of talk about as I was going through and looking at some things to have you on, we're here at 5 rounds completed at GNCC. You've already had more podiums this year than you did last year, and more than you had the year before. Do you think about that in any way? Does that weigh into anything, or do you just kind of take it one race at a time?
Right now, I mean, yeah, I take it one race at a time, but it is a little weird. I have thought about, like, it is pretty cool. Like usually most of my podiums come when I'm up north. I never really do that good when I'm down south here, in years past. So I'm stoked to have this many podiums, this early in the year, and even get a win. So it's big for my confidence and moving forward. So I'm excited. Yeah,
and when you got your first podium, I know you talked about getting that first one off your back. it kind of makes the rest of them easier to chase, and like you said, builds up your confidence. Is that your same mentality with a win? Now that you know that you can do it, and you've gone out and proved that you can do it, is that going to be the standard going forward?
Yeah, for sure. I think I kind of already like proved that, like with getting on the box and stuff like that. Like this is the first time where I feel like I'm one of the guys. Like I'm a player, like for the championship. Like I've had some bad races, but anything can happen. And I feel like I'm one of the guys that can win on any weekend. So do my best to try to make that happen. It's racing, so anything can happen. And but yeah, going forward, that's the goal, and try to do best I can.
100%, and you certainly are right there in the mix. Sitting fourth place in points, just a couple points behind third, but you would be right in the mix without the Florida and the Tiger run issues. So that's got to do a lot for your confidence as well. But looking on the other side of things, National Enduro, you're in the Pro 1 class now. You got second place at the season opener down there in Sumter. The guy that's in the lead, oh, by the way, broke his neck. I'm not sure if you knew that or not.
Who's that guy?
But he's not going to be able to race. So, and you kind of mentioned that effectively kind of makes you the points leader if Sue's not able to race. Does that change your mindset and mentality at National Enduro? I mean, that's obviously you've had a lot of success there in the past, but now you're right there in the mix for a championship, and it's only one round in, and now you got this other confidence building up. What does the rest of the National Enduro season look like for you?
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, it doesn't change anything though. Like I feel like I know the Enduros a lot better than I know the GNCCs, just because I've been doing them a lot longer, and I know how to play the game a little bit. So it's still going to be tough. Like there's only how many? There's like 10 Enduros or so, and they're all spread out a month apart. So it's a lot harder to be. You got to be sharp, for that one race every month, and bring your A game. And there's also a lot of good guys in there as well. Like like Stu's. He's been the guy at the Enduros, but Toth is still there. Toth has been picking it up at the Enduros, and you got the other Husky guys. You got Craig, you got Trevor, and now Grant's back. Grant's riding, so he's going to be a threat as well. So I'm not worried about any of those guys or anything like that. Enduros, it's just kind of like it's you against the clock. So you have to race the clock and do the best you can. So I'm excited for them. They're pretty fun. Like, I think Enduros are a good time. Like, not so much the traveling. Like, some of them are pretty far away. Like, I don't want to go to Oklahoma and
Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri. I like Missouri because I won that one too. But it's a far drive. But yeah, so they're just cool. Like, I grew up doing that. That's kind of my background. Like, when my early memories going to races is going with my dad and helping him pit before I could race, hanging out at doing enduros, like, chasing him around and watching my uncle and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm excited.
For sure. And it is a national series, so they actually travel nationally. So it's one of those things where it's cool to see them going that far out. But yeah, as a rider, especially the stretch coming up, because it's like Indiana for GNCC, then the next weekend you're in Missouri, and then the next weekend I think it's Virginia, and then the next weekend it's Ohio. So about to be pounding the pavement here coming up in a few weeks.
Oh yeah, yep. I'm gonna have to get out of here, get out of the south, up down here with Stu. He's gonna be mad, but I'm gonna have to go up north here and get a little bit closer to some of those races coming up.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all for that. And last question, I kind of want to get into that a little bit. What are you doing for training now, and what have you kind of been doing over the off season up until this point?
Yeah, so it's been a little different. Like, in the years past, I've had trainers and stuff, and they've told me what to do and everything, and what to eat and everything, and do the deal and every day. But this year I kind of went into it like a little bit open book, like kind of with what I've learned from all the trainers. I've kind of picked and choose what I like and what works for me, and kind of just been doing my own thing. Like when I was down in Florida for most of the winter for the off season training with and I actually did a lot of what Ricky, my teammate Ricky Russell, does. I just kind of would I told him, I'm like, hey, I'll be your sparring partner if you want me around here, and you want you want to race with me, and like someone to chase down, like I'm here. If you want me to go pound sand, tell me to go pound sand, but I'm here if you need me. So we did a lot of running and a lot of gym work, and like the Whitmer boys were down there, so we had a good group. And Tristan Landrum, Blaiston, this other little kid Blaiston was there, and we had a good group of guys that we were all trained hard this winter. And I feel like I got a really good base than what I've had in the past. Like I'm just confident with it now, like because I know I did everything that I could this winter, and yeah, so just I'd like to keep that going. And it's kind of cool. Like I don't know, everybody thinks you kind of need a trainer and you need someone to tell you what to do, and I feel like I've kind of figured out a little bit. Like you got to be smart with it and do what you want to do, but also put the work in and bust your butt, So
yeah, absolutely. And it's clear that what you've been doing is working out, and it sounds like that could also bring some more fun into it, which I think also shows in results. But it's cool that you're kind of freestyling that whole thing now, and like I said, the results are following it. So kind of hard to argue.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like I have to I don't need anybody to kind of tell me, to do something. And same with Ricky. Like Ricky's a pretty motivated guy. Like we get the work done, but they have actually like Stu. He's the one. He has to like, hey, you guys, like you can have an off day. Like go golf or go fishing or do something. Like we take it too serious sometimes. So it's good to have days like now, especially after you do good and go have some fun and get away from dirt bikes a little bit, because this is really our whole life and kind of what we all focus on,
Completely understand that. And just as you say that, man, you're at a golf course right now. Let's quit talking about dirt bikes. Go enjoy your day off. Go enjoy some golf with the boys. Can't thank you enough for your time, and appreciate you coming on, and congratulations on the win.
No problem. Anytime. Thank you.
And now we're going to head to a two-time 250 Supercross champion, a 250 motocross champion, a 450 motocross champion, former ISDE American team member, former Motocross Designations American team member, and this past weekend, a GNCC competitor, Zach Osborne. Zach, how's everything going today, man?
Going great, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for your time, and I appreciate you coming on and chatting with us. First of all, got to start it off. What was it like to be back at Camp Coker? I mean, a place where you used to race mini bikes back in the day, and now you're back out there racing an off-road race. What was it like to be back at the property?
Yeah, it was super cool. That's kind of why I chose Camp Coker as one of the ones I wanted to do. Just for old time's sake, basically. It's been a long time since I've been there. I think the last time I was there, my mother's family, we actually had a Christmas in that A-frame back there, the big A-frame on the pond, and did like a bird hunt, and just had like family Christmas. So it was really cool to be back there, and also to get to ride some of the moto track like back in the day. It was just a really neat experience.
Oh wow, I bet. And that's cool that even had parties and stuff back there back in the day. But the main question everyone keeps asking, and the main question of the weekend, which was a little bit ironic, you were on a two-stroke at Day in the Dirt, and you've been posting videos of riding a two-stroke. You're out on the four-stroke this past weekend. What went into that decision?
The fact that we had a little mechanical issue about an hour before the race, and Craig's practice bike happened to be sitting there, and they were like, you can ride that. And I was like, okay, well, let's go for it. So I was cold turkey riding blind on the first lap, and I'm just super grateful to the team and those guys for letting me, ride Craig's practice bike and getting me out there.
Dang, I had no idea. So that was a last-minute, spur-of-the-moment decision. Just swap the plastics and let's run it.
Oh, yeah. It was, I literally rode from the truck to the start line. I borrowed an eight wrench to adjust the clutch lever out a little bit from one of the trail adjusters guys, and we were running. So yeah, I had planned on riding the 2-stroke, but like I said, it wasn't possible in the end. But I do enjoy it. I was missing a little bit in the tight stuff there from like mile 4 to 7 or 5 to 7. But overall, it was a great experience. I really, really enjoyed the 350 and everything that it had to offer me too.
Dang, that makes it even more crazy and even more impressive, because I saw the 2-stroke sitting out there, and then everyone saw you on a 4-stroke, and I guess that explains why.
Yeah, that was my original intent, was to ride the 2-stroke, but it just didn't work out.
So, like I mentioned, racing day in the dirt, having fun on the 2-stroke. What's kind of the plan for this year? I mean, do you have other stuff in the works? Are you just play riding, having fun? I mean, where are you at right now?
Well, I took on a role with Husqvarna as kind of an ambassador / rider a couple, maybe 6 weeks ago now. And really, I guess this was my second event, my first event kind of as a rider for the job or for the gig, whatever you want to say. The first event that I did was the Husqvarna 2020 2.5 450 launch at Glen Helen a couple weeks ago. So for me, it's kind of a hodgepodge mixed bag of events, right? So there's some GNCCs, there's a couple of trail rides, some West Coast hare scramble type stuff. We haven't really totally nailed down the schedule yet. It was kind of something that we put together that's kind of ever-evolving, I guess you would say. It's like, oh, we put together a schedule, and then it's like something else comes up, so we end up changing it. So right now we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants a little bit and seeing what people are into and, where they want to see me and whatnot. So like I said, it's ever-evolving.
That sounds awesome, man, and no doubt one place that fans definitely want to see you, and we're excited to see you, was at GNCC this past weekend. You raced high voltage out there in 2020. After that one, you said you didn't get the result that you were looking for, hoping for, or that you are capable of. So this week, come back out, playing in the sand at Camp Coker, and now in 2 different answers, you've mentioned that this was one of the GNCCs that you were planning on. Are there any more GNCCs in your future for this year?
Yeah, so for sure the last race at Ironman, I'll be there. And then Caleb keeps trying to talk me into snowshoe, but I don't know if I'm quite cut out for that. I'm pretty short, and it seems pretty rocky. But there's a chance I'll be there. I enjoy it. I'd really love to do an XC2 race before the end of the year if I can get into some sort of race condition. I've ridden maybe, I'm going to say 10 or 12 times total in the last 6 months since I stopped, full time. And even before that, it was pretty hit or miss there for 6 months. So it's been really a year since I've put in any committed time to training and riding. I've been pretty consistent training for about 3 weeks or a month now. So I'm starting to feel good again and, kind of have some fitness, find some base again. But yeah, if everything works out, I would love to do an XC2 race before the end of the year and just kind of see how it goes.
Oh, wow. And so you've raced XC2 in the past, you've raced XC1 in the past, you raced the morning race this past weekend. Is that what you're kind of thinking with those last 1, maybe 2 races is definitely XC2? Or I know because Ironman, it's known for having that industry class in the morning, so I was just wondering which way you were leaning.
I really don't know it, and honestly, it's not completely up to me. It'll be sort of a group decision on, with the people that have put this kind of program together for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't tell you at this point what it'll be. I may be in the morning class at both races and be happy as Larry about that. I had an absolute blast this weekend. 3 hours is a long time, and it's a lot of suffer, and 2 hours wasn't that bad. So I wouldn't be terribly disappointed if they told me no. But, I definitely feel like I wouldn't mind to do an XC2 race again and just kind of see how it goes.
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from. And speaking of the morning race this past weekend, one of the biggest premier classes in that race is the WXC class, and they kind of talked about it on the starting line there. What was your impression of the girls? I know Taylor got around while you guys were unscrewing and screwing on your caps there for the pit stop, but, Corey was riding up there with y'all, got Rachel in the mix. What was your impression of the girls and the level that WXC class is taking it to?
It's impressive. I was nervous, to be honest with you, because, like I said, I haven't ridden that much, and everybody on Saturday was like, "Oh, I hope you guys don't get beat by the girls." And I'm like, I started to question. Oh, sorry, hold on. Question what it was going to be, you know. So I was impressed with the way they were battling, and it's tough for them to race too, because with the lappers and just kind of everything that they have going, it's a lot to take in. So they were super fast and really impressive. We caught Tori, who was leading the first lap, at the end of the first lap. Right before the finish line, I believe. And then Caleb let me go by right after the finish line. But on Saturday, I went back to my cabin and made some lunch, and I hadn't seen any of like the first mile. Well, all the way from the the finish line to the motocross track. So I'm like, dude, you're messing up right here. So by like mile 4, they had caught us back up again, and they were revving up for us to get out of their way, you know. So it was quite funny, but man, the level that they go at is pretty awesome. It's really cool to see them. You know, they were going ham. Me and Caleb, at one point, we were just kind of sitting behind, taking it all in, because they were, you know, we didn't want to be in the way of their battle or whatever, but it was really cool.
Yeah, and I was actually standing right there at the end of the first lap. Me and Johnny Gerard were standing there, and we saw Caleb kind of pull over and point you by. Did y'all talk about anything before the race? Was it you lead a lap, I lead a lap, kind of pace each other? I mean, what was the game plan going into it, if there was one?
There was no game plan. It was basically what you saw on the post the other day of banter on Instagram, and you know, I asked them some questions before the race or whatever, but no, there was no strategy as to what we were going to do. I just knew he was messing up by letting me go by, because, like, you know, setting trail speed is not exactly my specialty. So I'm like, dude, they're going to catch us, you know, you got to go. So then when they were behind us revving up, we were like in the woods, and I literally was like waving him by, like, you have to go or they're going to pass us.
So I know you and Caleb have trained a lot in the summers and stuff down at Alden's, and when Caleb was making his push in motocross, what was it like between the difference in training in your world on the motocross track and then going out and kind of watching him pick lines and stuff through the woods?
It's impressive. You know, obviously he was cruising, kind of riding around, I guess you would say. He may have whipped it up a little bit on the last lap. I don't know. But just the craft and the things that those guys see, even like riding e-bikes on Friday and Saturday, or on Saturday rather, I didn't ride any on Friday. On Saturday, they see stuff that I don't see, that I wouldn't see if I did 20 laps on the e-bike, you know? So it's really cool to just kind of be around them and, you know, see that level of racing and all the fine little intricacies that it takes to be good at it. It makes me know that I would probably take me like 10 years to catch the craft of those guys.
Yeah, and well, I mean, going throughout the weekend, another impressive girl ride. You mentioned that you were nervous about some of the girls. Another impressive girl ride in the Stasic race. That little girl that won that Stasic race that you guys were at, she was pretty impressive as well. But
yeah, she was ripping,
and it looked like got a little contact in the Stasic race.
Yeah, I don't know. She was using her feet more than like her brakes, and she got inside my little guy hot and just smoked him. But it was so funny. Like he was bummed. He had a pretty big crash right off the bat. He was leading, and then when she caught him, she slammed him, and I think it just like completely blew his mind. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of alluding to. We were all standing there watching watching that battle, and that's like one of the most exciting races of the weekend. And then saw her coming a little hot in that corner and take out your rider there. But basically the whole family atmosphere, the pedal and the bike on Saturday, the Stasic race of Saturday night, you going out riding the track on Sunday. Is GNCC and off-road, is that something that you could see yourself doing full-time? I know you retired back in October and kind of in this professional fun haver mode that you're in right now, but is it something that you could see yourself doing full-time, or is dirt bike just a hobby now?
I'm not sure. I have to kind of just see where my health goes. My back is in a pretty good spot right now. I still don't ride anywhere near what it would take to do, to race motocross or supercross or off-road at a high level. So it just depends on how that all goes. I think I'll get to the end of the year and see what that looks like. And, I have this program that I'm on for 2 years, so this year and next year. So we'll just have to see. I'm really enjoying where I'm at right now. I love going to GNCCs, and I love seeing other forms of racing. I've done motocross since I was 8 years old, pretty strictly. I've done, probably 10 or 15 off-road races in my life. And just the camaraderie and like you said, the friendships that are there, and just people having a good time, not being worried about results so much, and just all the little stuff that goes on in motocross. It's really refreshing to see, and it's just a kind of a fresh look at dirt bikes altogether for me. So I'm happy with where I'm at right now, and if something else comes up in the future, then we'll reevaluate that. But I'm really stoked on this position that I have at Husqvarna, and I think that it's going to be really cool for a lot of people, not just GNCC people and East Coast people, but some West Coast events as well.
Heck yeah, that's awesome to hear, and it is cool how the off-road is kind of like a little family, and it's cool when we get guys like you out there racing and coming in. But couple more questions, and man, like I said, I can't thank you enough for your time. You are one of the very few people that has been on an ISDE 6-day team and a Motocross of Nation teams. What is kind of is there any comparison between the two? And if you had to do or get to experience one of those teams again, which one would you lean more towards?
Well, that's a tough question. I love 6 days. It's a great event. It's such a fun race and fun atmosphere. The team's cool. It's such a big group of guys. But by the time you get all the juniors and all the club team and the women and everybody together, it's just a huge fun group. But the Motocross of Nations was one of my main goals that I never quite fulfilled. Winning a Motocross of Nations, or at least being on the podium. So if I had the chance, I'd probably take that just to see if I could make that happen.
Completely understandable. And man, I wrote down probably I got enough to ask you questions for 4 hours, but I'm not going to take all your time from you. My last question.
No, dude, you're good. I'm in no hurry.
Well, so looking back at your career, it's obviously been a very storied career, very long career. It's been one that I followed pretty closely. Like I'm good buddies with TJ Snow, and he's told me stories back in the day, and just always been a big fan of yours. And kind of the last question that I wrote down here, and to sum it all up, was looking back at your career, at all the accomplishments, at everything that you were able to do. What is one of your favorite memories? What is one of the most memorable moments of your career that when you think back, it's like the first one that pops in your mind?
Oh, the Vegas 2017 race was pretty incredible, just from...
Insane.
Just from a racing standpoint, but also all the things that happened to kind of get me there. And just, it was like a culmination of 20 years of work in one night, and that's... definitely that's up there. That's probably the top, even the rest of my championships, by no means am I ungrateful, but none of them topped that feeling that night. It was such a roller coaster of emotions, from being down in the first corner to winning a championship in the way that I did. It was just, I was literally mentally and emotionally cracked at that point. And, I don't know. It was just an incredible night. I didn't sleep the whole night because I was just high on adrenaline, I guess you would say. We didn't go party. We went from the track to in and out to the motel room, and I just laid in bed the whole night looking at the ceiling because I was just in disbelief. It was just such a crazy moment, and I don't know. I don't know if any racing moment would ever top that one, to be honest with you.
Man, from a fan's perspective, I was jumping up, couldn't believe it. Everyone was going nuts. I can't even imagine what that felt like for you.
Yeah, it's undescribable, right? It's crazy that, like I said, just to be able to come back from that and get to where I was, to put myself in a position to be able to win was just crazy.
So that one obviously came down to the wire, and everyone saw how it happened and how you were able to go from last to first and get the championship there. Going into 2018, you had the number 1 plate. Was it I don't want to say easier because it's never easy, but after winning one Supercross championship, did that make defending it a little bit easier, or did it give you more confidence than going into the 2017 season?
Not really. I mean, it's honestly a little tougher to defend because then you have the number one plate and you have some expectation, and that, in my opinion, makes it just a little bit harder. And like 2017, I had 3 wins. I had a great 2018, sorry, I had a great season, 3 wins, and won the championship. But it paled in comparison to the 17 season, getting my first win. Getting some cool race wins that year, and then to win the championship the way I did was incredible.
Heck yeah, man. Well, that's awesome. And like I said, can't thank you enough for your time. It was awesome to see you out there. Hopefully we see you at Snowshoe. Snowshoe is a fun one. It is a fun one. After it's done, it's fun. But
yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and I'd love to come back on sometime and talk again. If you got some more questions for me, just let me know what's good for you, and we'll make it happen.
Absolutely, man. Well, I really appreciate that as well. And good luck with everything else you have going on, and look forward to seeing you out at the races again.
Yep, we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.